Bravo! Break out the party hats, pop the champagne, because it has happened. Yes, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, finally found a rigged election. 5+ years, all the symposiums, the documentaries, the cyber guys, the bad data. 5+ solid years of hunting, and finally on Tuesday night, he bagged one. The only problem, it's the one that he just lost. So the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell, lost Minnesota's Republican governor primary by double digits. Then goes on his own weird network and refuses to concede. And asked the most pressing question of all, why would I listen to the AP?
All right, everybody. Does anybody have any other questions?
If the AP calls the race for Lisa Dameth in the next half hour, will you concede?
If who does?
If the AP calls the race.
What is the AP with the voters? What the AP? Why would I listen to the AP? There's 265,000 votes left to count. I'm down by 18,000 now. We just gained 5,000. I will call. I'm not going to give up this race until the votes are counted. That's nonsense.
Until all the votes are counted?
Until the votes are counted where I can't win.
So now, Mike Lindell personally located this stolen election in a Republican primary. Lisa Dameth, the Republican Speaker of the Minnesota House, beat him by roughly 11 points and more than 45,000 votes. Nowhere close enough to get a recount. And frankly, this whole thing is just sad because at 11 p.m., Mike Lindell tells his live stream watch party that one more batch of votes could be enough to give him the lead within the hour. And yet the AP called the race against him about 30 minutes later. You could not have scripted this any better. But perhaps this may be a preview of November because he's not conceding and he's saying his teams are investigating the anomalies and they're going to be investigating overnight. First of all, what teams, Mike? Your MyPillow forensic division? The 3 guys in your warehouse waving a black light over the map of our country? And investigate what exactly? This was your own party's primary. The people in this election are the people who would have endorsed you. You would be serving subpoenas on your own watch party and fan club. And the best part, just hours before the polls closed, Donald Trump posted that Mike Lindell deserves a, all caps, big win in Minnesota. That nobody has worked harder or given up so much fighting for free and fair elections, and that he won't let you down. I mean, that's a serious thing that the president put out. And go back to the original endorsement back in July, because it had one of my favorite sentences of all. Quote, he truly deserves everything he gets, end quote. Mr. President, for once, total agreement with that statement. Yes, Mike Lindell has gotten everything he deserves. And Congressman Ted Lieu, he did my job for me on this one. He posted, quote, many people say that Venezuela rigged the election against Mike Lindell because they don't like his pillows. I've never seen anything like it, end quote. I'd be mad about that if it wasn't so perfect. Anyway, question time for you guys in the comments. At what point does the Republican Party finally just admit that their fraud machine only magically ever finds fraud in the elections where MAGA loses? I mean, what's the actual logic in this? That only when MAGA loses, even if MAGA is in charge, that's the only time they can find fraud. And by the way, in a great piece of grace from the sky, Lindell is now the 3rd Trump-endorsed candidate to faceplant in a primary this election cycle. The Trump endorsement, it used to be a golden ticket, and yet it's starting to look more like a coupon for a restaurant that closed back in 2020. Republican voters looked at the man that Donald Trump called the hardest worker in election integrity and said, we're good, thanks. Now, there is some positives, by the way, for Minnesota. No matter what, you will get your first woman governor, no matter what. Because November is Amy Klobuchar versus Lisa DeMuth. That's not nothing. Now, still, one of those two has a platform that sets women back, but still, I digress. Lindell himself is funny as a character, but I want you to keep in mind that the man who taught him this entire act and encouraged him the entire way is sitting in the White House. And again, hours before Lindell face-planted, Trump was out there spewing whatever he could. I've already covered this, how he went on a MAGA radio show about declaring a national security emergency to force through his voting restrictions before the midterms. He even said the quote, "Let me just say, stranger things have happened." I'll leave it at that.
If you declare a national security emergency as the President of the United States, they can't challenge it. It can only be overturned by a 2/3 vote of both houses of Congress. So if you do this in the next month, we will get photo ID, proof of citizenship, and a limit to mail-in ballots, and
Let
you
me
don't
just say
even
that
need
stranger
the
things
Senate
have
vote.
happened. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Sure, we may joke about Mike Lindell being kooky, but the plan being floated is very, very real. Lindell is simply applying Trumpian talking points to his own misfortunes. So yeah, we may be laughing at the weird pillow guy, but we need to be watching the president more carefully. And frankly, we've got to stay loud about all of this. And independent media like us, we are the only ones that are bringing you these stories day in and day out, and we live and die with your interactions. I know it sounds like a small token, but your likes, your comments, your shares actually help. So please take just a couple of seconds on your way out and leave us a comment, hit that like button, and share this story with anybody who needs to see it.